Inside this box is the dumbest Apple product I've ever purchased, and that's saying something. I would explain, but it's better to just show you. Behold, my friends, my new computer, an iMac. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is my new computer. I custom ordered a very expensive yellow iMac. The way this one's set up might be the only one in existence, because I don't think anyone is dumb enough to order an iMac the way that I ordered it. And by I mean I asked Ken to help me order it, and then he ordered it wrong, so it's even weirder. Now you might look at this and think that it is an incredibly questionable purchase, but when you see my existing office, you'll see that I have a lot of room to make some improvements. So before we get started, let me give you a tour of my actual office. I've shown this in videos in the past, but I've always cleaned it up, we've tried to decorate it. This is what it actually looks like. I actually need to kind of like design this sort of setup a little bit more. It's still a little bit basic, but there's that. The couch I can't show you. We have to censor all of this because this is where I leave embargo products that have not been dealt with, so we're just gonna move on from that. Then you'll see this, my Samsung Frame TV. Now there's a little bit of a theme in my office where I have a lot of items that don't really make a lot of sense from a value perspective, but I irrationally want it, and I wanted one of these Frame TVs for a while. So my existing setup is basically unchanged since something like 2016. So a lot of it is built around my LG Ultrafine 5K monitor. Now I'll be honest, I love this display. This is the original launch model, and I've used it for many years. The problem is that it is starting to go out on me. Not only have I, ever since day one, had Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz interference, which means that things like Bluetooth mice tend to be a little bit flaky with me, but on top of that, especially the last year or so, I've been getting this purple fringing around the edges of the display. It's fine, but it's getting worse and worse, and honestly, I know that I'm gonna have to give up eventually. Look, I'm stubborn. It's a really good display, I like it, but it is definitely time for a replacement. The problem is that with my office, what I tend to do, because I have a lot of products come in and out, a lot of stuff, it all just kind of lives on the desk. I gotta stop doing that. I know I gotta stop doing that. But for now, that's where things live. I am going to fix this desk. That is my goal for this video. I am going to upgrade and completely redo my setup. Now this setup is really designed to be used with a laptop, and that's been my primary system. So it's been a number of laptops over the years, but I've pretty much always taken my laptops and plugged them in via a Thunderbolt dock, which then goes to the 5K display, 10 gig Ethernet, all that kind of stuff. It's really quite a good setup for me because I can take the laptop with me when I go home, when I travel, when I come to the office, one system everywhere. Now, there are other like 4K monitors and stuff out there. There are even some OLEDs that are tempting, but to me, it feels like this is a good opportunity to try to go back to a device that I have wanted to use since day one, which is the iMac. The issue though is that using a base iMac becomes a little bit of a challenge when it comes to doing a little bit more of creative tasks. You're running lots of apps and stuff because all of those base iMacs only have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, we've talked about this in the past. We made an entire video using the MacBook M3, the MacBook Pro with 8 gigs of RAM. It is a usable setup. But for me, it's not, I'm not gonna, look, it's 2024, I am not gonna daily drive a system, I don't care, Apple Silicon or not, with 8 gigs of RAM, right? That's just not an option. This is a good opportunity for me to actually tidy, clean, and redesign this setup with at least a little bit of thought in mind. Big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Bitdefender. Bitdefender is constantly rated as one of the best cybersecurity companies in the industry. Tons of the biggest companies in the world rely on their technology. But now, any business can have Bitdefender's enterprise-level protection with Gravity's own small business security. When you think of cyber attacks, you might think of a hacker breaking through your firewall. But did you know that almost 90% of successful cyber attacks start with email phishing? That's when a criminal literally goes fishing for your critical information. Criminals use social engineering, usually emails to impersonate legitimate businesses or pretend to be someone you know, hoping you take the bait and click on something you shouldn't. All it takes is for one person in a hurry or not being careful enough to make a single mistake and it can all be gone. With Gravity's own small business security, you've got a multi-layered defense, starting by blocking anyone impersonating real businesses that you work with. It also automatically blocks known phishing websites and continuously scans content from malicious payloads that can steal your security credentials. Best of all, Gravity's own small business security is flexible. Set the level of protection that you need and let the robust defense system do the rest. Just use the link in the description to get yourself an exclusive 50% off discount, and another huge thank you to Bitdefender for not only sponsoring this video, but for keeping us safe. So, this is my 24-inch iMac. It looks so weird with this VESA stand. Take a look at, wow. That is a white ass bezel. I'm gonna put this back on now. We're just gonna cover this up. I'm gonna show, make sure that I keep my screen nice and protected until I get it on the actual VESA arm. The way I'm going to configure this in my office is this is going to be on a VESA arm, so I actually have some sort of flexibility because the base stand that it comes with is a very short, squat little thing that just adjusts a little bit of tilt. So that was one of the main things that I wasn't sure I wanted, and then Ken ordered it with the VESA arm, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna commit to the VESA life. Oh, good Lord.
I mean, I have the Slack message. I basically sent you the invoice, did not realize it was VESA, and you were just like, the one with the VESA. Actually, f it, I'll just order it.
That is an exact quote.
That's literally what you said. I didn't even have time to respond to you. You made your decision up on your own.
That is exactly what I said.
You could have turned back.
So it is time to start cleaning up this desk. I need to order a bunch of accessories, a bunch of peripherals. I have some ideas right now, but this is the starting point. And hopefully by the end of this video, this whole setup will be much tidier and much, much cooler. Yeah, there you go. I did it. So with my VESA arm built, it is time to layer our iMac into place. Goodbye to this beautiful gold exterior that I'm never gonna see because I'm looking at it from the other side. All right, I'm gonna adjust this very slightly, tighten everything down, and we're gonna get this iMac up and running. My questionable decisions continue. Ready, and... Woo! The speaker's actually not bad. Having a little bit of second thoughts right now, I'm not gonna lie. The screen's a little small, but something that's small never hurt anybody. I'm gonna see how well I like this iMac, and I'm gonna start thinking about the rest of the desk, but I feel good, asterisk, a little nervous. And now the peripherals are in, it is time to look at my new desk setup. So in addition to my yellow iMac, I also have this keyboard which was built for me by Betty from Switch and Click. I have swapped out the keycaps to make them a little bit more Mac friendly, but on top of that I am using the Magic Trackpad that came with the iMac, plus my Logitech MX Master 3S. All of this is on a yellow desk pad. As you can see, I've tried, not super successfully, but I've tried to get a little bit of color coordination with this setup. I also now have some basic things like a headphone holder and an Anker USB-C charger on my desk where I can charge laptops and phones and you name it. But I'll tell you what, I've been using this iMac setup for a few weeks and I'm actually kind of happy with it. So let's discuss the iMac M3. It's not terrible. You know, you've got the Apple M3 processor, which is very powerful even today. So you've got very good single thread performance, enough sort of graphics and sort of general horsepower to do things like editing, which I've had zero problem with. And you've also got a very nice 24-inch 4.5K display. What I've been using this iMac for is a mixture of basic tasks like, web browsing and writing and researching everything, but I also do a lot of video editing on this. Now, primarily the things that I edit these days are short, so they're certainly a little bit easier to handle. But I will tell you this, the M3 has had absolutely no problem chewing through it. It should be a surprise. I used to edit our main videos on my M1 MacBook Pro all the time back in 2020. So the fact that this has significantly more performance than that easily makes it powerful enough for anything I want to throw at it. But I will say that it would be really nice if at least I could have outfitted this with the M3 Pro. That is still a significant step up in performance. And because they've got the Pro level chips and something like the Mac Mini, I don't understand why they couldn't put it in the iMac. It does feel like they're sort of artificially trying to separate out their product line. And let's be real, they probably don't sell that many of these iMacs. It is a very niche product that is meant much more so for consumers than for actual professional use. But it just looks so cool. Right? It's one thing for me to tell you all about my new setup. I need to actually bring in an expert. Luke Miani has made many wonderful videos on the Apple products of yesteryear and tomorrow. But does he approve of my setup? Behold, my friends, this is very secretive, my office setup. Can I direct your attention to my setup over here? And can I get your honest opinion, unbiased as much as possible, Don't tell me what I want to hear.
Okay, first off, I love this keyboard. The keyboard, 10 out of 10. Now, the yellow iMac. I'm not sold on it.
Oh, really?
I'm not sold on it. It's... See, the thing is, they need a bigger iMac. I missed the 27-inch iMac.
It's a little small.
It's a little small, but I like the idea that you've done here. I like the coordinated yellow. That's a good touch.
So I have had this setup now for about 3 weeks now. So I've been spending some time with it. My thoughts are I'm going to replace this face arm
With the yellow one.
Well, I need something that's not less ugly. I actually want to put like a small display. I was actually thinking about maybe running an iPad with Sidecar. I was thinking about it because I want something that's kind of small.
I like
more
that.
so just like to kind of put like just a little bit of extra information down there. Some of the other things I've got here, and in fact, this is new to you because I've spent the last couple of weeks tweaking and tuning this setup. I now have the Osmo Pocket, which now functions as a webcam. So now I have a decent webcam, which you can see will actually follow me. So as I move around, get close, get farther away, it works pretty well. I also have the Neumann mic, which I can just pull right down here. So if you need to podcast, I can just be ready to go as quickly as this, hit a couple of buttons with the lights. It feels good. This is the setup now. I'm gonna evolve it more. I've already established some areas that need improvement, but does it get the Luke Miani seal of approval?
Oh yeah, this is an excellent setup. You have my seal. Would you like a handshake to confirm it?
Thank you, appreciate it. So you agree that $2,000 iMac is a good idea. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute.
So here's the next part of the video that I've been waiting to talk about for a long time. This iMac. Let me actually show you how expensive this was. You look at the iMac, it starts at $1,300, right? But who wants no USB 3 ports, gigabit Ethernet? No, of course not. And you also have to go up to the higher configs for
The colors.
So we're starting at $1,700. Then we go out to $1,900. And then we add another $50 to the trackpad, making this computer $1,949 for an M3 iMac. Is it still Luke Miani approved?
You don't even have a terabyte.
No, I could have. That would have been just another $200. That would have been $2,000. I wanted to keep it
That's insane.
I wanted to keep it reasonable at less than $2,000. But you know what? Have you ever made an irrational purchase? Have you ever done something dumb because your heart told you to?
Yeah, I bought an M2 Ultra Mac Pro.
Even I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
Well, you made some videos out of it though.
I did.
I'm making a video out of this, which helps me to
There you go.
justify it.
I mean, only YouTubers can justify it then, is what we're basically saying.
That's true. This is my new system. I'm quite happy with it. I really like the aesthetic of it. I like the fact that it is really a super minimal setup. I don't have to have the tower. I don't have to have the laptop. It is outrageously expensive. But if you can get past that price or just don't configure it with the VESA arm and everything like I have, it's really solid. So, is the M3 iMac worth it? No, it is not. It is not. It's not a hard conversation to have. Now, if something like the iMac is interesting to you, I would highly recommend to consider a refurb model. When you're talking about sub $1,000 for a system, even with an M1 that has still plenty of performance, you've got years of updates down the line, Apple Silicon, a beautiful display, it's not an actually bad system. It really is pretty solid. The problem though is that when you get into the value, when you look at the upgrades, when you look at trying to get this thing to like a reasonable sort of spec, it is absurdly expensive. And the fact that the iMac does not have any CPU options at all is incredibly frustrating because if it had the Pro chip as an option, that would make such a big difference to the performance. Thank you very much for watching. Don't do what I do, but what you can do is subscribe to the channel and ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button. If you don't, then a charge for $1,949 will be magically debited out of your account, and Tim Cook will be hiding in the bushes, laughing maniacally that someone finally bought this iMac, the only one that they've ever made like this, because it's dumb.